Good morning, my Rogue readers. My name is Erin Rogoff, and welcome to my BookTube channel, where we discuss books and more books. And with this BookTube video today, I will be discussing my top 3 favorite books right now. Shall we begin? My first favorite book is After the Game by Abby Glines. This is book 3 of the Field Party series, and in that series, we have Until Friday Night, Under the Lights, After the Game, Losing the Field, and Making a Play. I have read the first 4 books, and I've enjoyed every single one of them, although it did take me a little while to read Under the Lights just because the plot was pretty slow, and it didn't develop as much as I liked, and the love triangle between Willa and Brady and Gunnar didn't necessarily make all that much sense to me, but After the Game was absolutely perfect. I loved it. The characters were well developed, and they had their own different personalities, which was just so beautiful how they all connected, and I'm really happy that Riley got her happily ever after the trauma that, what was his name? Rhett Lawton put her through. Oh my gosh, I hated his character, and I was like almost having a literary panic attack when he approached Riley about this little baby named Bryony, who is Riley's daughter and who is also Rhett's daughter. But he said that he didn't know how to be a dad, and that was, I'm not going to go into any more spoilers because I want you to read the book too. Anyway, 5 out of 5 stars. It was so totally worth it. I cannot express that enough. And my second favorite book this time is City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. This is book 3 of 6 in the Mortal Instruments series. And why did I like this book so much? In the end, we finally found out that Jace and Clary aren't actually brother and sister at all. So they can finally be together, and there was so much promise for the next book and the book after that and the book after that. So I was just so excited. I was so into this. I read this within a matter of days. It was that good. Oh my gosh. And the battle scenes were perfect, and how Alec came out to his family about dating Magnus. That was just such a beautiful scene. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the book too. Just as much as I did, if not more. So anyway, my final message is save Shadowhunters. And for the piece de resistance, we have A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is basically a Beauty and the Beast retelling where Beauty, Feyre, becomes the Beast. Immortal fairy Feyre, I meant to say that, my apologies. With the Court of Thorns and Roses series, there is so much good that I have to say about it that there isn't enough time in the universe to talk about how much I love this book. I mean, I love every word from the beginning to the end, to Happily Ever After, to Chapter 55, and Wingspan, and Snowballs, and Paint, and Soup, and if you read the book, you'll understand what all of that means. But if you do not understand, read this book, and you'll be in on the secret too. And before we go, I have one final short thing to say. It was so funny. Before the quarantine happened, I was at Barnes & Noble buying a few books, and I was basically Daenerys in I Choose You All. It was so funny because I see a book and I'm like, okay, I gravitate to that one, I gravitate to this one, I gravitate to all of them. And so after I got all the books, I was still just walking around looking at all the other titles, and it was so funny because I hear this girl in the next aisle over talking about the Court of Thorns and Roses series. And so I just said, Chapter 55. And she shouted from the next aisle, Wingspan! And so we run to each other and embrace, and we both say at the same time, I have not known a person who likes the Court of Thorns and Roses series as much as I do. Word for word. That was impressive. And so we were fangirling and flipping out, and it was just so funny because all her friends and my brother, we were all just they were all staring at each other like, okay, what is going on? Because my brother has not read the series, he's not as big a reader as I am, and this girl's friends, they were not knowledgeable about the series at all. But it was so funny how we were just like, oh my gosh, you're my new Court of Thorns and Roses best friend. It was just so funny that this memory will play in my head every single time I read the Court of Thorns and Roses series. And I do have to say that A Court of Mist and Fury is my absolute favorite book of the Court of Thorns and Roses series. And as a final note, I really hope a movie series or TV show is made eventually, and I have a dream cast. As for my dream cast, here we go.